The Great Liquidation. What millionaires know that you do not know yet.
Welcome, discerning viewers, to Finance Unfiltered. In an era where financial news often feels like a carefully choreographed ballet of half-truths and market cheerleading, we have dared to pull back the velvet curtain. Forget the soothing lullabies sung by the talking heads. We are here to expose the cacophony of an impending economic storm. If you are tired of platitudes and generic advice, if you sense that something profoundly unsettling is brewing beneath the surface of official narratives, then you have found your sanctuary of blunt, unvarnished financial reality. Our journey thus far has been an unflinching descent into the abyss of economic realities. We meticulously identified the ominous storm clouds gathering on the horizon, from rampant inflation to the desperate maneuvers of central banks, and then, with surgical precision, we dismantled the persistent, naive myth that this time is different. We did not shy away from painting a vivid, perhaps even uncomfortable picture of what a market collapse actually entails, not just in abstract percentages, but in its brutal personal impacts. This is not for the faint of heart, nor for those who prefer to keep their heads firmly buried in the sand of blissful ignorance. But fear not, for our mission extends far beyond merely delivering grim tidings. We then transitioned from diagnosis to prescription, revealing the Millionaires playbook, not some secret handshake, but a set of actionable strategies focused on preserving capital, eliminating liabilities, and positioning for opportunity. We explored the indispensable power of dry powder, why cash becomes king when chaos reigns, and exposed the rampant hypocrisy of financial media, highlighting precisely what they refuse to tell you. This entire series is your uncompromising guide to understanding the Great Reset and, more importantly, how you can navigate it. This is your moment to cease being a passive spectator in a rigged game and to become an active, strategic player in your own financial future. The game is changing. Are you ready to adapt?
The dark validation, confirming the warning signs.
You have arrived at Finance Unfiltered, a sanctuary for those brave enough to confront the unsettling truths about our collective economic future. In an era saturated with financial platitudes and relentlessly optimistic forecasts, a pervasive unease has settled upon the global landscape. Talk of an imminent market crash or a looming economic recession has moved beyond fringe speculation and now permeates daily conversation, igniting anxieties about job security, investment portfolios, the very stability of our financial systems. This widespread apprehension is not born of mere negativity. It stems from a confluence of undeniable signals that demand our undivided attention, urging us to prepare rather than simply hope for the best. Let us be direct. The financial landscape is not merely bumpy. It is riddled with craters, and the signs of impending structural failure are flashing in bright neon red. Forget the pleasantries offered by the mainstream media, the reassuring smiles of central bankers, or the cheerleading from those with vested interests in keeping you invested. We, at Finance Unfiltered, cut through the noise, through the euphemisms, and through the deliberate obfuscation to present the unvarnished reality. What are these critical signals that so many choose to ignore, dismiss, or simply pretend are transitory? We speak of the relentless inflation that erodes your purchasing power with each passing day, the desperate gambit of central banks raising interest rates at a pace not seen in decades, the utterly ludicrous valuations still clinging to assets disconnected from economic reality, and the suffocating mountains of debt that threaten to collapse the entire edifice. These are not isolated incidents. They are interconnected tentacles of a behemoth slowly waking to wreak havoc. Consider the persistent scourge of inflation, initially dismissed as a temporary blip, now a stubborn economic reality. Your grocery bills, your fuel costs, your housing expenses, all relentlessly climb, silently stealing your future. This is not some benign economic adjustment. It is a direct assault on your standard of living, a devaluation of your hard-earned money by design, or more likely by profound incompetence. And observe the aggressive interest rate hikes. The blunt instrument deployed by central banks attempting to stuff the inflation genie back into its bottle. This cure risks killing the patient, suffocating economic growth, making borrowing prohibitively expensive, and tightening the screws on governments, corporations, and individuals alike. It is a classic move, often too late, and almost always leading to unintended, painful consequences. Furthermore, we must address the sheer absurdity of current asset valuations. Is the fundamental economic reality truly justified the stratospheric heights reached by certain segments of the stock market, or the dizzying prices in real estate? Or is it merely a speculative bubble, fueled by years of cheap money and the eternal human delusion that this time is different? History, as we've often noted, does not repeat, but it certainly rhymes. And finally, the crushing weight of global debt. Government, corporate, and consumer has reached levels once considered unthinkable. Who will service this debt when interest rates bite harder and economic growth stalls? The answer, dear viewer, is likely you, the taxpayer, the consumer, the individual bearing the brunt of systemic recklessness. These are not abstract economic theories. They are the tangible indicators of an impending financial crisis, a coming market correction, or, dare we say, a full-blown economic recession. We are not here to sell you hopium. We are here to arm you with the truth. Ignoring these glaring red flags will not make them disappear. It will only ensure you are unprepared when the inevitable occurs. We understand that this perspective can be uncomfortable, even frightening. However, true strength lies in confronting reality, not in denying it. In our next segment, we will delve deeper into the historical precedents, showing you that these patterns are not new and providing crucial context for what is truly unfolding. Prepare yourselves. The illusions are about to be shattered, and your preparedness begins now.
The big dump. What they are selling off and why.
In our previous segment, we meticulously laid out the glaring red flags that are currently fluttering in the financial winds. Persistent inflation, aggressive interest rate hikes, ludicrous asset valuations, and a global debt mountain threatening to collapse. Now, it is time to address the most dangerous phrase in the lexicon of finance. The siren song that has lured countless unsuspecting investors onto the rocks of financial ruin. This time is different. Oh, the sweet, intoxicating melody of novelty. Each generation, it seems, possesses an unshakable conviction in its own unique brilliance. Its unparalleled innovation, its newfound immunity to the ancient forces of economic gravity. The proponents of this time is different are either tragically naive, deliberately deceitful, or simply suffer from a chronic case of historical amnesia. We are here to disabuse you of this comforting delusion with a harsh dose of reality, delivered directly from the annals of financial history. Because while the technology may evolve, the names on the trading screens may change. And the specific vehicles of speculation may shift. The fundamental drivers of human greed, fear, and folly remain astonishingly consistent. Market cycles are not a quaint historical anecdote. They are an immutable law, and ignoring them is an act of willful ignorance, if not outright financial suicide. Let us briefly rewind the tape. Cast your minds back to the Roaring '20s, a period of unprecedented technological advancement and speculative fervor. The stock market soared, fueled by margin debt and the fervent belief that stocks could only ever go up. Experts, then as now, assured the public that a new economic paradigm had arrived, rendering old rules obsolete. Then came October 1929, the infamous Black Tuesday, shattering the illusion and ushering in the Great Depression. Fast forward to the late 1990s, the glorious dot-com bubble. Internet companies, many without a tangible business model or profit, traded at astronomical valuations. The narrative. This is a new economy. Traditional metrics do not apply. Many believed it, piling their savings into speculative tech stocks, only to watch their portfolios vaporize in the early 2000s when the bubble inevitably burst. The pain, though real, was quickly forgotten. Then, perhaps most recently for many of you, we witnessed the housing bubble and the subsequent global financial crisis of 2008. The financial engineers of that era crafted increasingly complex and opaque instruments, reassuring everyone that housing prices would never fall nationwide. Ratings agencies, regulators, and government officials largely stood by, echoing the familiar refrain, "Our markets are resilient. We have new tools to manage risk." This time is different. Of course it was not. The subprime mortgage crisis triggered a cascade of failures, bringing the global financial system to the brink. In every single instance, the underlying causes were eerily similar: excessive speculation, unsustainable debt, lax oversight, and an unyielding faith in a perpetually rising market. The details vary, but the tragic plot remains the same. The dangerous allure of this time is different, stems from a potent cocktail of human psychology and vested interests. Investors, particularly newer ones, possess a short memory, often extrapolating recent gains indefinitely into the future. Financial institutions, eager for transactional fees and commissions, are incentivized to maintain optimism, downplaying risks and promoting the narrative of perpetual growth. Regulators, frequently behind the curve, react to crises rather than prevent them. And the public, bombarded by a cacophony of reassuring voices, finds comfort in the belief that the party will never end. This collective delusion is precisely what allows speculative bubbles to inflate to monstrous proportions, making their eventual collapse all the more devastating. The sobering lesson from financial history is not that crises are rare, but that they are cyclical, inevitable, and often predictable to those who choose to observe without blinders. Understanding these patterns, recognizing the familiar warning signs, and disbelieving the comforting lies of this time is different, are not acts of pessimism. They're acts of profound intellectual honesty and essential financial self-preservation. It is your ultimate defense against becoming yet another cautionary tale in the next chapter of economic folly. The market's memory may be short, but yours does not have to be. In our next segment, we will pivot from understanding the historical context to confronting the brutal, immediate aftermath of such an event. The real-world impact on your finances, your career, and your overall well-being. Do not be caught unaware.
Dry powder dominance. Why cash is king once more.
We have dissected the glaring red flags, the undeniable harbingers of financial turmoil, and we have ruthlessly exposed the comforting, yet ultimately ruinous delusion that this time is different. Now, dear viewer, it is time for the grim main event. If you have been following our segments, you possess the intellectual fortitude to confront what comes next. The brutal, unvarnished truth of what a modern market crash or economic recession truly means for you, the everyday North American. This is not theoretical economic jargon. This is about your life, your savings, your career, and your peace of mind. Let us commence with the most immediate and palpable impact: wealth destruction. For years, you have been diligently contributing to your 401k, your IRA, your brokerage accounts, watching the numbers climb, perhaps even feeling a smug sense of financial acumen. You have been told that a rising tide lifts all boats, and you believed it. In a genuine financial crisis, that tide does not merely recede, it evaporates, leaving behind a barren wasteland of depleted portfolios. Those paper gains, those illusory fortunes celebrated on quarterly statements, vanish with astonishing speed. Your retirement plans, meticulously crafted over decades, can be decimated, pushing back your golden years by a decade or more. The phantom wealth that made you feel secure reveals itself as just that, a phantom. The conventional wisdom of diversification often fails precisely when you need it most. As correlations between seemingly disparate assets tend to converge to one in a panic, meaning everything you own goes down together. Your illusions of security will be shattered, replaced by the cold, hard reality of tangible losses. Next on the roster of unpleasant realities is the inevitable job loss and the erosion of job security. When the economy grinds to a halt, companies do not continue to operate out of altruism. They cut costs, and often the easiest cost to cut is human capital. Mass layoffs become commonplace, particularly in industries that were previously booming, such as technology, real estate, or any sector reliant on discretionary spending. The illusion of being indispensable is quickly dissolved. Unemployment numbers skyrocket. Competition for the few remaining positions intensifies, and the ability to find new work becomes a harrowing, protracted ordeal. The psychological toll of this widespread joblessness is immense, impacting not just the individual, but entire families and communities. Your once stable career path can suddenly resemble a crumbling bridge, with uncertainty stretching out as far as the eye can see. As if personal wealth destruction and widespread joblessness were not enough, prepare for the chilling effect on credit markets and a severe liquidity crisis. When fear takes hold, financial institutions become incredibly risk-averse. Banks, having witnessed defaults escalate, slam the brakes on lending. Credit dries up for individuals and businesses alike. Mortgages become harder to obtain, credit card limits are slashed, and loans for small businesses vanish. For corporations, access to capital becomes a desperate struggle, leading to more bankruptcies and, you guessed it, more job losses. In such an environment, cash is king, but it is a monarch few possess. The very system designed to facilitate transactions becomes paralyzed by distrust, making even basic financial operations difficult. That quaint notion of too big to fail quickly devolves into too big to save, without massive taxpayer-funded bailouts, further eroding public trust. The cumulative effect of these economic shocks extends far beyond mere financial metrics. It takes a profound psychological toll and can breed social unrest. Stress, anxiety, and depression become pervasive as individuals grapple with lost livelihoods, decimated savings, and an uncertain future. Trust in institutions, government, banks, corporations erodes, fostering cynicism and division. Political polarization can intensify as people seek scapegoats or radical solutions. This is not merely an economic event. It is a societal trauma, one that challenges the very fabric of community. We understand that this portrait is stark, even bleak. But ignoring these potential consequences does not make them less real. It simply leaves you vulnerable. Do not mistake our directness for pessimism. It is a call to awaken and prepare. The good news, if there is any, is that knowledge is power. Recognizing these brutal realities is the first step toward fortifying yourself against them. In our subsequent segments, we will transition from diagnosing the disease to prescribing the cure. The actionable strategies you can implement right now to build your personal financial fortress and navigate this coming storm. Do not merely be a victim of circumstance, be a survivor.
Financial media's hypocrisy. What they will not disclose.
We have scrupulously peeled back the layers of delusion, exposed the historical repetitions of financial folly, and painted a stark, unvarnished portrait of the devastation a modern market collapse can wreak upon your life. If you are still with us, congratulations. You possess the rare courage to face uncomfortable truths. Now, having grasped the sheer magnitude of the impending financial chaos, it is time to shift gears from observation to action. This segment is not for the faint of heart or the perpetually optimistic. It is for those who are ready to build their personal financial fortress, a sanctuary designed not merely to survive the coming storm, but to emerge from it stronger and more resilient. Forget the hollow reassurances of your financial advisor, who likely earns commissions whether the market goes up or down. Ignore the siren song of the media, which profits from panic and perpetually pushes an agenda of endless consumption. We are here to equip you with the fundamental, non-negotiable pillars of wealth preservation. Strategies that are as ancient as they are effective, yet stubbornly ignored by the masses until it is tragically too late. These are not get-rich-quick schemes. Those are for fools and charlatans. These are the bedrock principles of economic resilience, designed to insulate you from the widespread ruin that is currently brewing beneath the surface. The first, and perhaps most critical pillar of your financial fortress is the establishment of a formidable emergency fund. Yes, we know it sounds painfully basic, a concept drilled into you by every personal finance guru since the dawn of time. But there is a reason for this relentless emphasis. It is your personal supply of dry powder. While others are forced to sell their depleted assets at fire sale prices just to pay the rent or cover medical emergencies, your emergency fund provides a crucial buffer. We are not speaking of a mere 3 months of expenses. In these uncertain times, 6, 9, or even 12 months of living expenses safely tucked away in a high-yield savings account or short-term treasury bills is your non-negotiable financial armor. This cash is your freedom, your flexibility, and your ultimate defense against becoming a forced seller in a rapidly declining market. Without this foundation, all other strategies are merely castles built on sand. Next, and equally vital, is the relentless and aggressive elimination of non-productive debt. We are looking at high-interest credit card balances, personal loans, and any other liabilities that siphon away your capital without generating a return. Consider this your personal financial weight loss program. Every dollar freed from the chains of debt is a dollar that can be deployed to build your fortress or crucially saved for future opportunities. The wealthy understand that debt, while useful for strategic investments, becomes a crushing burden in times of economic contraction. Why willingly pay exorbitant interest rates when the economy is likely to turn sour, potentially impacting your income? Shedding debt is not just about saving money, it is about reclaiming control, reducing your financial servitude, and ensuring maximum maneuverability when the true financial reckoning arrives. Finally, let us discuss genuine asset diversification, and we mean genuine, not the flimsy illusion offered by owning 10 different tech stocks. True diversification means spreading your wealth across different asset classes, some of which tend to perform inversely to traditional markets during downturns. Think beyond stocks and bonds. This could involve an allocation to physical precious metals like gold and silver, which historically serve as hedges against inflation and market volatility. Consider strategically chosen real estate, once prices come back to reality, of course, or even investing in your own skills and education. Your human capital, arguably your most recession-proof asset. The goal is to avoid having all your eggs in one fragile basket, particularly a basket that has been enthusiastically promoted by the very institutions that benefit from your perpetual optimism. These initial steps are not glamorous. They are foundational. They are the grunt work, the preparation that separates the unprepared masses from the strategic few. Do not mistake this for a complete blueprint. It is merely the opening salvo in our guide to navigating the coming financial chaos. In our next segment, we will delve into even more advanced tactics, exploring how to identify and seize the incredible opportunities that only arise when panic grips the market. Because while a crash means devastation for the many, it can mean unparalleled opportunity for the few who are prepared, liquid, and strategically positioned. Do not be left behind.
Your move. How you can replicate this strategy without being a millionaire.
We have diligently outlined the ominous storm clouds gathering on the economic horizon, meticulously dismantled the myth of this time is different, and vividly portrayed the brutal impacts a market collapse can inflict upon the unprepared. Now, for the most crucial segment, your personalized playbook. You are not a millionaire. You likely do not have a private jet or a Swiss bank account brimming with billions, but that does not mean you cannot adopt the strategic thinking and tactical moves that the wealthy employ to not only survive, but thrive during economic upheaval. This is your opportunity to flip the script, to transform from a potential casualty into a strategic player. The Millionaires' Playbook, when stripped of its gilded trappings, is fundamentally about preserving capital, eliminating liabilities, and positioning for opportunity. And guess what? Those core principles are entirely accessible to you, the diligent individual. This is not about magically acquiring millions. It is about cultivating a mindset of financial discipline and proactive preparation that mirrors the actions of those who understand the true cycles of wealth and poverty. While the scale of your war chest may differ, the strategic chess moves remain strikingly similar. First, let us amplify the crucial concept of human capital investment. Your ability to earn income is arguably your single greatest asset, especially when traditional investments are crumbling. In an economic downturn, those with highly valuable in-demand skills, or those who are adaptable and continuously learning, stand a far greater chance of maintaining employment or finding new opportunities. This means investing in yourself, acquiring new certifications, mastering a new software, developing a niche expertise, or even cultivating an entrepreneurial side hustle. Do not become complacent in your current role. Continuously assess the market for skills that are recession-proof or become more valuable during challenging times. Your personal skill set is a form of diversified asset, one that cannot be wiped out by a market crash. Cultivate multiple income streams, even small ones, to build redundancy and reduce your dependence on a single employer or source of revenue. This is your personal hedge against unemployment, far more potent than any stock option. Next, revisit your liquidity strategy with renewed vigor. In our previous segment, we emphasized the emergency fund. Now, let us consider it your personal version of the dry powder that millionaires hoard. They sell assets to gain cash, not because they are afraid, but because cash is the ultimate optionality. It provides the ability to pounce on distressed assets, invest in undervalued opportunities, or simply weather the storm without being forced to liquidate your own holdings at a loss. Your goal, therefore, is to maximize your cash position. This means being aggressive in paying down consumer debt, as discussed previously, but also critically evaluating every discretionary expense. Cut the fat, defer unnecessary purchases, and redirect those funds into your liquidity reserves. The temporary discomfort of frugality today will be dwarfed by the immense relief of financial freedom tomorrow. Furthermore, adopt a strategic approach to opportunity hunting. While the average investor is panicking, selling everything in a frenzy, the savvy few are quietly preparing their shopping lists. Your goal is not to catch a falling knife, but to understand which fundamentally strong assets will become available at ridiculous discounts when the market capitulates. This requires patience, discipline, and a deep understanding of value. It means educating yourself now on specific sectors, companies, or even real estate markets that you believe possess long-term potential. When the time comes and blood is in the streets, your patiently accumulated dry powder will transform into potent purchasing power, allowing you to acquire quality assets at prices that seem unimaginable during a bull market. This is the ultimate lesson from the rich. They do not fear a crash. They anticipate it as the greatest transfer of wealth in history, always positioning themselves to be on the receiving end. Finally, remember the power of unfiltered information in community. In a world awash with propaganda, seeking out genuine insights, like those we strive to provide here at Finance Unfiltered, becomes paramount. Engage with content that challenges conventional narratives, question every expert on mainstream media, and build your own network of like-minded individuals who prioritize truth over comfort. This collective intelligence, this shared vigilance, will be an invaluable asset in navigating the chaos and identifying real opportunities that the masses will miss. This is not merely advice. It is a battle plan. It empowers you to take control of your financial destiny, transforming you from a passive observer into an active participant. In our concluding segment, we will tie all of these threads together, offering a final, stark look at the Great Reset and how your preparedness today determines your prosperity tomorrow. Do not be a victim, be an architect.
The inevitable conclusion: the Great Reset is coming.
We have embarked on a journey, peeling back the layers of comfortable illusion to reveal the raw, unsettling truth. We began by painstakingly dissecting the glaring red flags that scream of an impending economic crisis: the relentless creep of inflation, the desperate tightening of monetary policy, the absurd valuations, and the suffocating burden of global debt. We then mercilessly debunked the myth that this time is different, reminding you that history, though it does not repeat, certainly rhymes with devastating consistency. We then confronted the brutal, personal impacts of a market crash: the wealth destruction, the job losses, the credit crunch, and the profound psychological toll. And in our previous segment, we empowered you with the practical, actionable steps to begin building your personal financial fortress. Moving beyond mere survival to strategic positioning, now it is time to connect these threads, to understand the larger narrative at play, and to issue a final, unwavering call to arms. The actions of the wealthy, the smart money we discussed, are not random acts of financial prudence. They are strategic maneuvers in anticipation of what many are now cautiously, but accurately, calling the Great Reset. This is not a conspiracy theory for the tinfoil hat brigade. It is a recognition of systemic forces at play, where the current economic and financial architecture is unsustainable, and a fundamental restructuring, a rebalancing of power, wealth, and control is not just probable, but inevitable. The powerful are positioning themselves, liquidating vulnerable assets and accumulating cash, not out of fear, but out of a calculated understanding that immense wealth will be transferred during this next phase. They are preparing to acquire the distressed assets, the failing businesses, and the undervalued real estate when the panic reaches its zenith. They are securing their positions for the new world order, whatever form it may take. The choice, dear viewer, is stark and undeniably yours. You can continue to be a passive observer, lulled into complacency by the saccharine promises of eternal growth and the soothing reassurances of those who benefit from your ignorance. You can watch your wealth erode, your job security evaporate, your financial future slip through your fingers, all while clinging to the hope that someone else will fix it, or that the old rules will magically reassert themselves. This path leads to becoming a casualty of circumstance, a mere data point in the next wave of economic statistics. It leads to becoming one of the many who will, in hindsight, lament, "If only I had known." Or you can choose the path of the prepared, the vigilant, the few who dare to look beyond the headlines and perceive the deeper currents. You can leverage the knowledge we have shared, the insights into market cycles, the strategies for building an emergency fund, eliminating debt and genuinely diversifying your assets, and the imperative to invest in your own human capital. This path empowers you to become an architect of your own financial destiny, a proactive participant in navigating the coming storms. Rather than a bewildered victim caught in the crosscurrents, the Great Reset, whether it manifests as a sharp market correction, prolonged recession, or a more radical systemic overhaul, presents both immense danger and unparalleled opportunity. The difference lies solely in your level of preparation and your willingness to act. We at Finance Unfiltered exist for this very reason: to provide you with the unvarnished truth, the critical analysis, and the actionable strategies necessary to protect your assets and position yourself for the future regardless of how turbulent it becomes. We refuse to sugarcoat, to offer false hope, or to shy away from the difficult conversations. Our mission is to empower you with the kind of financial literacy and strategic foresight that the mainstream system often suppresses. Therefore, this is not merely a video, it is a direct call to action. We implore you, do not just consume this information, internalize it. If you found this unfiltered truth valuable, do not hesitate. Like this video, subscribe to Finance Unfiltered, and share it with anyone who still clings to the comforting yet dangerous lies. Begin building your financial fortress today, challenging the complacent narratives that permeate the financial landscape. Leave a comment below with your thoughts, your fears, or your own preparation strategies. Let us build a community of the prepared. The time for passive observation is over. The tremors beneath your feet are growing stronger. The choice is yours. Be a victim of circumstance or an architect of your own financial destiny. We are Finance Unfiltered, and we will continue to bring you the truth, because your financial future depends on it. Stay vigilant, stay prepared, and we will see you on the other side.